Hello, everyone, again. Welcome to Painless Universal, a conversation with me and Welsh. Today's guest is a sickle cell warrior. And what fascinates me about her being a sickle cell warrior is her company, CMOS Food High. She started this platform and a company as a way of helping people with chronic illness and others find your joy through your eating. Find your joy in what you put inside your body. Join me and welcome Daniela. Welcome very much, Danielle, to Painless Universal Conversation with myself. As you know, Painless Universal is a platform where I share stories. I share stories of inspiration, stories of hope, messages as well, where I also share topics where people give messages of encouragement or ways to do things that's from their various learning. On your particular side, I really was touched as someone with a chronic illness, but that is not just the reason I was touched by you. It's also I was touched by your methods of that have worked for you, which when I first talked to you, you did emphasize these methods. But before we dive into that, I wanted you to tell us a little bit about who you are, because everyone watching will be like, okay, why did I invite her to this platform to share this platform with her? Who exactly is her? Why? What difference is she going to make if I listen to her story? Welcome again, and I look forward. And I'm really looking forward to listening to you and hearing your story.
Well, firstly, I'd like to say thank you for inviting me on your platform. It's such a pleasure to be here. You are an inspiration yourself, being a fellow sickle warrior. It's not an easy life, and then coupling it with being a mum and a businesswoman, it's a lot, you know, and we have to know how to look after ourselves to maintain all of this stuff.
Yes, and it's not easy at all, balancing it all. Oh gosh, yeah. Some days you're actually at a high, and some days the absolutely lowest point you can be, but you just have to find ways to balance that.
Definitely. So I'm Danielle from Most High Foods. As you can see, there's my logo on my t-shirt.
Don't worry, we'll be showing the logo all over the place.
Yeah. Everyone's starting to ask where for a t-shirt, so I might start printing those too. You never know.
Yes, you need to.
So I'm a nutritionist and also a student as well. I'm undergraduate doing my Bachelor of Science in Health and Nutrition.
Wow.
So along with that, I'm also distribute tailor-made CMOS to people, which is a sea vegetable, which I mix with other healthy ingredients to help boost the body's immune system and give a natural alkaline multivitamins, which is brilliant for people with our blood disorder.
Yeah. Wow. So what it really takes me back is when anyone looking at your Instagram page, which we'll put down the link below, on your Instagram, you are CMOS Food High. And I'm always scrolling down, looking at different things. Why the name CMOS Food High? And
well, Most High Foods.
Yes, CMOS High Foods. Sorry.
Yeah, that's it.
most food. I always get it wrong. CMOS High Food. Thank you.
Yeah, yes. That's it. No worries. Well, I grew up in a household where my mum would refer to God as the Creator Most High. So I took that aspect of food and health, things coming from nature, natural resources for us to stay healthy. So I kind of stole the Creator's name.
Oh wow, but that's a unique name.
Yes, thank you, because I do really, 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 really love holistic foods, and I like to push it. And it's amazing how people are not that educated on what is healthy and what, you know, some people don't really want to cross certain boundaries and try different fruits and vegetables, especially if they look a bit different from what they see in the supermarkets every day.
Yes.
So I was, with most Thai foods, I thought I could at least bridge that gap and give people a platform where they could see things that are not usually on the shelves, like maybe like the dragon fruit, for example.
Mm,
And if you was to never seen a dragon fruit before, you'd go on most Thai page, you probably find a picture of it, what
mm,
is good for the body, and what it looks like, and roughly a description of how it will taste as well.
mm, mm.
So it gives people a way of, an easy way as well, because it's just there on your phone. You can even use most Thai foods like a shopping list
Mm.
if you want. So it gives you a list of all the healthy foods out there, the herbs, the spices, and things like that we need to boost our immune system and oxygenate our bodies.
Wow. And what's the story behind it? Has this got also, and I know you've briefly touched about the uniqueness of them, you know, not setting foods and not being in the shop, because I know so many I've looked for in the supermarket I just don't find. So that also makes it limited options for my kids. What do I get them? I get them the same things over and over again. That also then limits their mindset of what they know as fruits.
Yeah.
And for you, is there a story behind why you went in this particular direction, apart from it's the kind of the food not being in the supermarket? Do you think there's a linkage also with your health as well, where you're looking at specific food because of these specific foods had more health benefits?
Directly my health, really, that put me on the nutrition path, researching
Yes.
about, because I
Mm,
think I got to a point of when I had my third child where I could
mm,
feel my body felt really, really weak, and I didn't know what to do. The
mm,
doctors were not really confident on my health, and
mm.
I already had a joint replacement in my right shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pregnancy really wears down the body for a normal female. So for
Yes.
someone with sickle cell, it is important that we know how to look after ourselves, especially after having a child, which I wasn't doing, unfortunately. Mum
Mm,
life, I wasn't eating correctly, and
mm.
obviously I lost the strength in my shoulder, so it had to be replaced. So by the time I had my last born, who is now 7 next month, gosh. Yeah, the shoulder was literally useless and it had to be replaced. So it was going through that experience that made me want to look into holistic health. And then I done a course on nutrition for a year, and it just spiraled from there. And then I was applying for university and doing a degree in nutrition and health.
That's amazing. How would you define for viewers out there listening? How would you define eating healthy? What would you what would you see it as? Um, if someone wants to, because after listening, they're probably saying, "I want to change my path of the way I eat." So how would you define that?
I would define eating healthy as trying to not overthink it,
Mm,
don't overstress yourself,
mm,
and have a balanced diet, have a bit of everything. Don't snub anything until you've tried it first. And with things like trying to cut down the amount of intake of meat in your diet, spice up your vegetables. It
mm,
really, the herbs and the spices and how you flavor things, that is what's going to make children not think it's vegetables, and you eat that in 50 seconds.
yeah.
So it is, I really do believe that healthy eating is definitely nothing that people should really stress about. It's
Mm,
something that we should be adventurous and research and find out different foods and other ways, like using CMOS, for example. That
mm,
is a good way of getting nutrients into your body in a simple way, because you can add CMOS to your cooking or your drinks. My daughter puts it in her ginger tea in the mornings, so it's because it's not a strong flavor, because that's normally most people's hang up. What if I don't like the taste? It's
yes.
finding, yeah,
Mm,
definitely. So it
yeah.
is finding things that agree with your palate as well.
So in your category, if you're to give a bit of a description of what a typical diet should encompass, what would you say a typical diet would be?
A typical diet for me, what I've done personally to maintain my weight and my health as a sickle cell sufferer, is
Mm,
that I make sure that I have 3 to 4 meals a day. It doesn't have to be big.
I heard
I don't
that.
eat, I
Mm,
don't eat big anyway. I'm quite of a picker, and I
mm,
think most sicklers
mm,
are picky eaters. So
yes.
for breakfast, it's usually something like porridge, which I know is going to last me till about 1 o'clock, and then I'll have with my breakfast a cup of tea with CMOS in it. And even if I'm in a rush and I don't get that bowl of porridge, I have
Mm,
that cup of CMOS tea. So I know I'm getting 92 vitamins and minerals in my body, and I can at least grab a fruit or something if I'm running to uni.
mm,
I always make sure that I have my bulkiest, heaviest meal at lunchtime. So
mm,
if you fancy steak or bit of mutton or something like that, have it for
yeah.
lunch
Okay.
instead of for dinner, so it's not sitting in your stomach at bedtime.
Mm,
And another tip I would say is, yeah, instead of a bulky dinner, have things like small healthy snacks in between, like fruits and nuts and things like that.
mm. So, what role would you think something like this, the way you eat, what role do you think it plays for people with chronic illness, especially the way you eat and the fitness as well? Well, how do you think do you think there's a relationship to that, or because people at back, when sickle cell was first diagnosed, I don't think there was ever that people ever thought about the relationship between our food and exercise and chronic illness. Which what you've done and what you've learned, I mean, currently learning, I'm sure is uni right now. Do you feel there's a correlation?
Most definitely, and I'm definitely my own guinea pig. I
Yeah.
literally use myself as a test dummy. Anything that I am telling anyone else, I've done it.
Yeah, so that's good. Yeah.
So
You're
I'm
going
definitely,
clinical research.
that's exactly it. The proof in the pudding. Because
That's very true.
because I think comparing my body
Mm.
and my energy capacity and even my hair length, as you can see, I've tied it up in a bun because I've got CMOS orders. Don't want the locks in the hair in their orders. So
Well,
it, it,
okay.
it, it is a big difference. When I look back in my old pictures, I see the difference in my face, my body shape, my skin looks more supple. I've just got more energy, and people's like, how do you get all these things done, Danielle? And I'm like, CMOS, healthy eating,
Yeah.
exercise. So it really, really, really is important that we have a regular routine of these things just to keep the body regenerating.
Mm.
Because if we're not eating healthy, our body's not going to stay oxygenated. We're not going to be able to replenish blood cells, which you already have difficulty doing. So
Mm.
it's important that we eat healthily. We don't eat as much red meat and meat products in general, because if you think about the digestive system, where it takes energy to burn and break down food before you can extract your actual nutrients from it. So
Mm.
it is important that when you are eating, that you're eating things that your body can break down quickly, get the nutrients and oxygen that it needs from it, and bring it straight back from your digestive system into your blood.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are what I would say is the most important things for us to be doing.
And we both have kids, and I know if I'm to introduce my son something different, for example, that will just be a no-no. It will be absolutely difficult. So how do you incorporate things like vegetables and disguise it, or not necessarily disguise, or make it do something that they would be able to make it edible for them? What are your
One
advice to
thing
that?
I often do, I don't know, some say, oh, it's deception, but I don't tell them. I don't tell them what it is. If it's vegan mince I've used, I'm not telling them. It's just spaghetti bolognese we're having. So guarantee since January we haven't had beef mince, and they have no idea. Hopefully they don't watch this.
Yeah.
But they literally have no clue that they've been having spaghetti bolognese that has been totally vegan friendly, sorry.
Yes.
So I would say try your best not to tell them what it is, especially if it's something you've cooked down and stewed. As long as it tastes good, they will eat it. The minute you disclose that certain things is in there, that's when you have the issue. So I am the deceptive mother.
Yes. No, I honestly, I totally agree, because I think even I remember my child, even onions. I just said, they said, what's this? I said, onions. I don't like that. And I'm like, gosh, why did I just say? I
Yeah.
should have kept my mouth shut. And probably my child son will learn to eat this. But
Yeah.
the moment you mention it, or you blend it in, just let them
Blend it
see it.
in. That's it. If they can't see it, then they can't pick it out.
Yeah, just blend it in and let it sit. I mean, mix it in or whatever.
That is it.
So, there are lots of people out there. They're all looking for a healthy lifestyle. We're all busy. We tend not to make time for ourselves. It's always like everybody wants to have everything, but no one absolutely understands how to make time for it.
Yeah.
You are such a busy person. You still have your chronic illness to manage. How would you advise people listening to manage their time, still eat healthy, try to be fit, and go about with their day-to-day routine, whatever they have to do?
Yeah. I always tell fellow sickle cell warriors, put yourself first. Always put yourself first. If you need a break, take a break. If you have someone wants to place an order, for example, and you have a crisis or you're overloaded at that moment, don't be afraid to say, I'm backed up at the moment. Can I put you on my waiting list and get back to you? Those things like that. If they genuinely loved your product and you're giving a good service, they will come back. You won't lose customers from it. I haven't lost a customer from it yet. I would say designate your time, like have a time where you say, right, I'm putting that phone down and that laptop down and I'm having a me time.
Yes.
And I'm having family time. Like when we spoke last time, I said, 8 o'clock is bedtime. Like I literally make my children's time in my diary and alarm, so that I don't want to hear them, oh, you're not spending time with me. So even my phone's reminding me this is their hour or their 2 hours, and I just put everything to one side and deal with them. Once I have dealt with them, they bother me less and I can get on with the business or the housework and the other stuff that needs doing.
No, I totally agree. We sometimes get caught out, but we sometimes forget that these kids are growing up, and in a matter of time, they will not be babies anymore, and they won't even want to spend that time with us. So the best way to start prioritizing. Anyone who don't understand your product, are you to give me a little bit about, because I know you've said so much about this. Is it CMOS product? And
yes, some people might know it as
I wanted to get
Irishness.
it, but I'm also on the verge of like, is it going to look, what would it look like? So I'm also on that. So I need you to tell us, what is a CMOS product and how would it look and what are the benefits if anyone wants to start taking the CMOS product?
Well, CMOS is a sea vegetable, and it's obviously it lives in the sea. It can come dried or it comes slightly damp, not totally dehydrated. But I use it and I make a stiff kind of jelly.
Which one do you use, the damp one or the
Dry. I prefer it dry,
yeah.
because then I can wash it and clean it how I want, and make sure that there's no mollusks and other bacteria from the seed left in it.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I like to clean and process it myself from scratch, because
Mm-hmm.
some processors do use chemicals on their seed vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to find the most natural products I can.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's so once it's been processed, it's a solid jelly consistency. You keep it refrigerated. It can stay refrigerated for 2 to 3 weeks. It will last for 3 weeks if you keep the lid dry. You know how preserved jars are; they
Like
can
like
gather
like the
water.
jam and stuff.
Yeah, so you
Mm.
have to clean the water out the lid to keep it fresh.
Mm-hmm.
But if you obviously do those things, it will last the full 3 weeks, sometimes even longer.
Mm.
So it's great to freeze as well.
Okay.
It's a thick consistency when it's cold,
Mm-hmm.
but when you put it into hot things like stew and tea, it literally melts into nothing. You can't see it at all.
No. Wow.
Yeah,
And do you
like
take
my
it
friend.
cold? Do you take it do you take a like a teaspoon, grab it and put it in your hot water?
Straight in the tea, yeah, straight in the hot water.
Mm.
Put it in. I put a tablespoonful of CMOS jelly in my teacup,
Mm.
my herbal tea bag, and straight pour the hot water on it, and it
Wow.
just all blends in, and it really does make your herbal tea have a kind of nice silky kind of feel to the tea. So
Wow.
it's like it enhances the flavor of herbs and vegetables when you put it. I make a CMOS jelly with turmeric and ginger, and
Mm.
I use that and I put it in my chicken curry, and my children love it. They really do love it. And then I don't have to use thickener to thicken my gravy, because it
Mm.
creates a nice gravy as well. Because
Mm.
it's a good gelatine replacement.
Oh
So you
wow.
can use it in baking as well. It's so diverse. You can use it for so many different things.
Mm. See, that's one thing most people didn't realize that what the benefits of it. I know you haven't really touched on that. So, what are the key benefits apart from? I
So
know you mentioned some of it at the beginning, but
yeah.
just in case someone who's just now on the CMOS angle and wants to know more, what are the key benefits and where can we find your product?
Well, the key benefits of CMOS is that they give you 92 vitamin and minerals, and the body needs 102 vitamin and minerals to function and
Mm.
rejuvenate cells. So
Mm.
CMOS gives you 92 of those.
Mm.
Um, so it's really, really good for the body. It's high in iodine and potassium and zinc, things like that. So it's really good for women's thyroid and our
Mm.
hormonal balances. So
Mhm.
it's brilliant for those things. And when I mix it with a different kind of seaweed, which is called bladderwrack,
Mm.
there's a CMOS and bladderwrack jelly that I make, and that is like an alkaline multivitamin. So
Mm.
it's giving you more than the 102 multivitamins that the
Wow.
body needs.
Mhm.
And that's alkaline, like 100% natural. So you have it, and the body literally will just reabsorb it straight into the body.
Wow. I no, I just can't believe it. And where can we find it?
Simple food.
I know, I know. Where can we find anyone looking to buy one of these? Do they just go on your Instagram handle? Or do you have a
Yeah.
website or just Instagram message?
At the moment, due to being an undergrad student, and I only have 2 pairs of hands and one me, it's my pages on Facebook and Instagram, Most High Foods. If you at Most High Foods, I come up, you'll see the yellow ankh, the black
Yes,
ankh and the yellow sun behind it.
yes.
I'm the only one with that symbol, it's me.
I know, I know. As we round up, you're a mother
Yeah,
and you were studying. You are a businesswoman. You've got a chronic illness. Um, most people struggle with one, just doing
yeah.
the one, but you've managed to do quite a lot of things. Um, I want you to tell me, how do you get by? How do you manage it? And what word of advice would you give to other people out there, mothers, parents who have kids with sickle cell and have lost all hope because they don't think their kids would do well enough or will be at the level of even having kids, and they're desperate, sleepless night every night because they're afraid. And there we are. We're there to share our story. It hasn't been easy, and no, it hasn't been easy on your path. Could you just share some difficulties you've had to face and ways you've overcome it? So these people listening will understand that there is hope. There are challenges, but I want to know what your challenges have been and how you've managed to overcome it, navigate yourself, that you're able to achieve where you achieve such great success to where you are now.
Well, I think it's important to have inspiring people to see getting up and going. So people like you, Anna Welsh, you've been amazing, watching you do your thing. And Kenny, you know Kenny from
I know,
Sickle
Penny.
Cell.
Yeah.
Having Pete and Chanel from Unsickle My Cells, having those kind of people to also watch has been so inspiring, and it keeps you going daily as well. Like, it's like having you make yourself accountable, and then you see someone else with sickle cell getting up and doing it. It does make you say, if they're doing it, I'm getting up and doing it. So it does give you that inspiration to move. Another thing I would always say is definitely mindset. Your mindset is everything. If you are going to think negatively and that you can't do things, it will stagnate you, it will pull you back, and it will not make you progress further. So you have to have a positive mindset, even if it means you regularly meditate and listen to uplifting stuff, by inspirational people to help you fixate your mindset on positive things. Do that. Another thing I would say is, I think because my past experiences have got me where I am. I think if I didn't go through the hard bits, and also being told that as a sickler, we all have been told we won't make it till 30, or we won't have children. And I think that just gives us much more of a determination to prove our doctors wrong. To say that, no, I'm more than sickle cell, I'm more than my illness. I can accomplish much more than you're offering me. So I definitely think, and because I diagnosed late, I was diagnosed in my teens, so it also affected my behavior. I didn't find out till I was 13 that I had sickle cell. So I think if I had found out earlier, I possibly would have grown more to accept having sickle cell. But I don't think I ever fully accept having a blood disorder, and this is how life is going to be for me. So I just tried to be like everybody, continued like life was normal.
And when you break down, you break down.
That's it. Literally. You know what I'm talking about.
Life is normal. If it does happen, if I happen to break down, I break down. I'm not gonna worry about it or cry about it. But because for me it was different. I was diagnosed at 6 months. I think from the very first time I remember anything of illnesses, I've always known myself to be slightly different by having the sickle cell. But at the same time, my parents never saw it because they didn't understand, which I think, in a way, I really love that they didn't understand it so much, because they just knew they needed to give me water, I needed to be kept warm, but they didn't know that, make her too special. And that I loved. I was treated slightly different, but not in a degree of, you're not going to school, you're not going to do this. No. If everyone's going to school, you're going to school. You're going to have to you have to absolutely figure yourself out. So I am delighted that they didn't know as much as we know now, because I think sometimes knowledge is good, but too much of it can make you overprotect the child
Yeah,
because you only see the negative side, not seeing the positive. And this is what this platform is all about.
definitely. And I think that's another thing
Mm,
parents with children with sickle cell should understand: putting a blanket over them and
mm,
protecting them from everything.
mm,
It's not going to help them in the long run.
mm,
Yes, they're going to have a crisis. Yes, we're going to get ill, but also let them live life and have experiences. Because
yes.
if you're going through life having crises and being stuck in hospital, you want memories of when you was out there walking and having fun. Because
Yes.
being sick and being stuck in bed is not fun. So I want to have some good memories too, at least.
That's absolutely, that is absolutely right. Yeah. And you need that memories that you could actually share of with your family, your sibling. And also I think you also get to rebel, you get to rebel.
Yeah,
That moment when you have that team where you're allowed to either go to university or you're allowed to live on your own. I think then
yeah,
the rebellious side, and I've seen a lot of people who their parents were so protective of them. So the moment they got that freedom, then the illness really kicked in because they didn't know how to handle themselves. So it's always
that's
like,
it.
what's the balance?
You,
But
you definitely need balance, definitely. We
mm,
want to do it all, but we can't do it all. So we have to pace ourselves.
yeah. And your kids, you escape that. None of your kids are sickle, and you just it's just Danielle that has to deal with the sickle cell. No,
Yeah,
no one else.
I'm
Oh,
thankful for that,
that's
definitely.
really
And I'm
good.
sure you are as well.
I am. I'm
Because
not. I am. Because I'm
yeah, because
selfish
I
as
don't
well.
know how parents do it with children also having sickle and them having sickle.
Mm,
Because to me going through pain, that's fine, but to watch my child, that must be a really hard thing. And
mm,
I take my hat off to any sickle cell sufferer who's got a child with sickle cell, and I hope they definitely seek help as well, because
mm.
you can't do that by yourself. You need support.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just not easy because especially we know how the pain feels. It's not like it just anyone. We know exactly what that child is feeling. So it's almost like double crisis when someone else is sick. Just knowing that this you could feel their pain. Yes. Well, most food high.
Most Thai
I
food,
I have to edit that bit. Okay.
no
Most high food.
problem.
um, I still love that name, and like how you brought it up and how you came about with the name. I'm so delighted because the reason why I reached out to you was just I was really inspired by your story. I was inspired by the way you had your outlook on life, and I think we need more positive role models like yourself, which there are very few of them, because
Thank you.
a lot of people out there to worry about what life has thrown at them. But you have turned whatever life has thrown at you into a positive. You have your
Yeah,
most high food, you have your kids, you're doing your degree, and you're just excelling. And I appreciate you being here on this platform to share your story because I am really humbled by you. I look at your page, I look at when you post in the mornings. One of the things, especially your Monday post, keep that because that gets me up in the morning when I see
yeah.
you.
It gets me up. Like, as much as you think it's for people on Instagram, it's
Yeah,
just as much for me
yes,
because
yes,
it keeps me accountable, and seeing him jump in and
yes,
dancing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to start my Monday.
yes. No, absolutely. It keeps me. It really it gets me up every Monday. I first thing I do after I've done my meditation, I go through my phone and I look at that. I always type in your page and I look for that dancing guy
Oh,
and
love
say,
to hear
"Yeah,
that.
ready to dance and dance my way." So anyone who's listening, do that. Go to Most High Food and look at it on Mondays. Only Mondays that this the dancer comes on. It's just amazing. And it doesn't matter what mood you start the day with, you will wake up with a positivity by looking at that. And I think this is what you're spreading. This is what your message is. Not just what you sell. It's not just what you do. It's not just your encouragement through fitness and through diet, but it's also the whole combination of yourself. And I really applaud you and thank you for that.
I'd like to thank you, because I don't think I would be able to keep my positive mindset and my spirits up if I didn't have other warriors like you to watch and inspire me as well. And I'm glad we're starting to build a nice community of sickle cell warriors, because we can keep each other going, and we can also help people that haven't got role models like us to look at or around them, and also children up and coming, because when we were younger we had nothing to refer to. So it's nice to have a reference now.
Yeah, nothing. Well, thank you so much, and I'll definitely be in touch with you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for asking me. It's such an honor to be here.
Thank you so much.